Hello crafters, this is Flavia and thank you for watching. For today's cards, we will be using a multi-step stamp set by Kitchen Sink Stamps to create these adorable teddy bears. I hope you enjoyed this video and let's get started. This is the Teddy Bear Wishes stamp set. As you can see, it comes with 3 stamps for us to layer them and create a teddy bear, along with some very sweet sentiments. I like to use a permanent marker to number my layering stamps to make it easier. That's why my stamps have numbers on the back. By having the numbers on the back of my stamps, I know which order to follow when I start stamping, without having to waste my time trying to figure that out every time I want to use this stamp set. Kitchen Sink Stamps stamp sets also come with a very helpful guide showing us how to line up each stamp with the previously stamped image for better results. Before we get started, here are the 2 other products that I will be using today. This is the Spreading Love embossing folder by Spellbinders. Along with this embossing folder, I will also be using an embossing diffuser. This is by Sizzix and it comes with 3 sets. These diffusers are simply amazing and I am very excited to put them to use as I haven't used them in a while. If you are not familiar with embossing diffusers, they are simply a tool which allows us to get more use out of our embossing folders by creating sections on our panels which are not going to get embossed. So if I use either one of these diffusers with an embossing folder, the center of the panel is not going to get embossed. However, if we need the opposite result and only embossing the center of the panels, we need to use these other smaller pieces that also comes with the set. Since I want to stamp the teddy bear in the center of the panel, I will choose this diffuser right here, which happens to be the perfect size. I have a Gemini Junior die cutting machine and that's the one that I will be using to emboss this panel. So first I will place my cardstock inside my embossing folder. Then I will place my embossing folder on top of one of those clear cutting plates that we use for die cutting. And then on top of the embossing folder, I will place the embossing diffuser. You could tape it in place if you prefer, just to keep it from shifting as you run this through your die cutting machine, but I think this will be just fine. So this is the sandwich that works for me, but I advise you to check your die cutting instructions first. You have to be careful because if you do add too much pressure when you run it through your die cut machine, you might either damage the diffuser or the embossing folder. So here is the result that we get by using an embossing diffuser along with your embossing folder. I embossed 2 panels because I want to make 2 cards, and thanks to the embossing diffuser, both panels have a plain section in the center where I can stamp my teddy bear. Because this is a multi-step stamp set, it is better if you use a stamping tool so you can perfectly line up the layers. I'm using my Mini Mist stamping tool and I will start with the stamp number 1, which will be the most solid layer. I chose Altenew Crisp Dye ink to stamp my teddy bear. This is the Coffee Break ink set. There are 4 stamps for creating this teddy bear. 3 layers for the body, plus a smaller stamp for the details in his face, so this Altenew ink set is perfect as it comes with 4 shades of brown. When it comes to layered stamping, we have to start stamping from the lightest to the darkest color, so all of the details from the previously stamped image shows a bit. As I mentioned before, the first layer is the most solid image, therefore we must stamp it with the lightest color, so all of the other layers that we have to stamp on top of it shows. I like to let the ink dry before adding another layer. That is why I am switching panels as I'm stamping. The lightest color of this set is Sand Dunes, and that's the one that I use for the first layer. And I will finish it off with the darkest color of this set, which is the espresso color, to stamp the details on his face. So every time that I move on to the next stamp, I make sure to check that guide that I showed you earlier to help me line up my stamp so I get the best possible result. Here are the 2 final panels side by side. Once this is completely dry, the ink will look a little bit lighter. I stamped this other panel yesterday as I was practicing, and I used that same ink set so we can see here how lighter the teddy bear is going to be when everything has completely dried. Off camera, I trimmed both panels to be 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and now I'm creating A2 size card bases. I have 2 pieces of cardstock that measures 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 inches, and I will create a score line on each panel right in the center at 4 1/4 inches, creating this way side folding A2 size card bases. Once these card bases are ready, I can go ahead and adhere the front panels by using strong liquid adhesive. I will keep these cards inside a dictionary while it dries and start working on a few die cut elements. I want to create some heart-shaped balloons, so I cut out some hearts in gold, pink, and red in 3 different sizes so I can layer some of them. These heart-shaped dies are just old and random dies that I already had. For the balloon string, I'm using the string die from this My Favorite Things Perfect Fit balloon set. I will only add 1 balloon for this first card. I'm layering pink and gold die cut hearts in different sizes, and for some shimmer, I'm using my Spectrum Noir shimmer pen. Then I can add the golden balloon string. Since I want to add some dimension, using that large heart-shaped die, I will cut out a heart-shaped foam piece. This foam is self-adhesive, and I will add it to the back of our layered hearts balloon. Then I can go ahead and add this balloon to the front panel. I want to place it in a way where the string is over his hand, so it gives the impression that the teddy bear is holding it. I also wanted to add a bow to this teddy bear, and luckily I have some leftovers ready to go. This is a die set from Spellbinders. It came with lots of dies to create a Christmas scene card, including a tiny die that cuts out 2 pieces to make a very delicate bow. It actually took me a while to pick the color for the bow, since it looks cute on either a pink or red one, but I will go with pink this time because I know I will be using a red one on the next card. To make his eyes pop, I'm applying black Nuvo drops, but you could also leave it as it is if you prefer. Moving on to the next card, I will change it a bit by creating a bouquet of balloons for this teddy bear to hold. I also went ahead and added the red bow to his neck and used my shimmer pen again to add some sparkle to these balloons. Once I have these 3 balloons ready, I will try to figure out the best way to position which one of them. Then, using a piece of press and seal, I will pick them all at once so I can add liquid adhesive in the back. By doing this trick, I will be able to place them all back exactly like I had them before I picked them up. I will wait a few minutes for the liquid adhesive to dry before removing the press and seal. Just like the other teddy bear, I will use black Nuvo drops to make his eyes pop. I'm also applying Ranger Glossy accents to the smaller hearts to make them glossy. If you're going to stamp a sentiment inside the card, it is better if you do it before you adhere the front panel, just in case you mess it up. But I forgot to do that, so I will quickly do it now. I will hit emboss the sentiment I love you barely much, which is so sweet, with gold embossing powder. This is a super fine powder by Ranger. So here are the 2 final cards. To cut out this heart-shaped border that I adhere to the envelope, I use a heart border die by Mama Elephant. I absolutely love this teddy bear, and I think that this stamp set is perfect for creating cards for many different occasions, such as Valentine's Day, baby shower, birthdays, and even Mother's Day. The sky is the limit. Actually, Kitchen Sink Stamps also have stamp sets with accessories designed to be used with this teddy bear, so we can create different occasion cards. If you're interested, I will have on my blog a list of all products used, and you can find the link in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you spending this time with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. You can find more information and pictures of these cards on my blog, and you can find the link in the description below. I hope you have a wonderful day, take care, and see you next time.